Hello everyone. How would you like to learn how to draw a fairy? Let's do it. Grab a pen, grab some paper, and draw along with me. I've got my paper-oriented portrait because my fairy is going to be flying up into the sky. So let me get started. So I like to start off by drawing my fairy's hair, or at least the front part of it anyway. So she's got kind of disheveled hair here. Coming out of that, just a small rounded chin. And here we can put her eyes, nose, mouth. Now the ears are important. Check this out. Instead of just doing this rounded C shape for the ear, I'm actually going to go out to a point and then come back in with kind of like curvy S shape. Yeah, so out and then back in. That ear goes a really long way to creating the whole vibe of a fairy. Pointed ears are a very fairy thing. So there you go. There's her ears, her face. I'm gonna give her a little flower on her hair. Fairies are creatures of the natural world. They're supposed to love flowers and seeds and all that stuff. So this fairy's going to decorate her hair with some flowers. Alright, now before we get too carried away in the fairy hair, let's go ahead down here and put in a little fairy body. What I like to do for princesses and stuff is draw poofy shoulder pads, or poofy shoulders. So I'm just going to put that in here. And then just, a little neckline for that fairy dress that she's going to be wearing. Coming out of here, you can make your fairy doing pretty much whatever you want. I'm going to make my fairy flying, so her arms are going to be kind of out, spread out. So there's one of her arms going off to the left side of the paper. Do the same thing over here. Draw her other arm. Now, let's put in her dress, just a little kind of thing that comes down here. It's really nice to make fairies using like a tutu line. I've drawn ballerinas and I've done that tutu line, but it's also a lot of fun to think of a fairy's dress almost like a flower or a plant. So I like to draw like leaves and stuff. Kind of this leaf shape coming out of here, because if you think about like what a fairy would want to make her dress out of, it would probably be leaves and flower petals and stuff. You can do a second layer down here if you wish. There you go. That's quite a little fairy outfit, fairy leaves. Okay, now let's move on to kind of a fun part about drawing fairy. I'm going to come down here from this side, and I'm going to draw on her leg. Following this line here, I'm just going to kind of go straight down. Now, that doesn't look much like a leg, but check this out. I'm going to use a B shape twice on this. Ready? I'll draw a B back up here to make her foot, and then a nice longer B to make her leg. See, so this is like the front part of her, and now she's got like a little pointed toe here. And I'm gonna kind of come down from here with a parallel line and just do it over again. There's a B to make her foot and a B to make her leg. And that's pretty good to make fairy legs. Alright, before I go any further, I'm gonna go back and do this hair now. Have fairies have whatever kind of hair you want. I kind of think their hair would be like wild and tangly and full of spiders and fun stuff like that. So I'm just gonna give it a wild texture. Okay, now let's talk about wings, right? So you can make your fairy have kind of big butterfly wings if you want. I always draw my fairies with pointed wings, almost like their ears are pointed. So coming out of her back, I draw what is almost like a dragonfly wing. But just before I finish it, I come back out and I do the other side. So it's sort of like a butterfly wing, it's sort of like a dragonfly wing. I'll do the same thing over here roughly. Do that bottom part back there. It's partially obscured by her hair. You know what, this fairy's coming out pretty nice. I think she needs to be a fairy princess, so I'm gonna add a little tiara here. There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over and do the fine point detail work. You know, you can never add too much detail to a fairy. You know, give her a little jewelry made out of, I don't know, stuff. I like to give my fairies little ballet shoes. I'm not really sure why. I just think it's a good look. I think if I ever ran into a fairy, there might be a pretty good likelihood that she would be wearing ballet slippers. And you know, I don't know what else you could do. You could put in some detail work here to make these look a little bit more like leaves instead of just, you know, these funny shaped things here. You put a little texture on the side here. There you go. Looks a little bit more like a leaf. What else could we do? We could put some stuff going on in the wings. Sometimes just a little outline right here is enough to make it look kind of cool. If you want, you can go in there and you could put in like lines, just like an insect might have. It's very shiny. Necklace. Fairy necklace. She's got leaving her little fairy dust wherever she goes. She flies by. She's sprinkling fairy dust. I might leave it like that for my fairy. She looks pretty good. So, alright. Thanks very much for drawing a fairy with me, everybody. See you around.